Welcome to the England Rugby Pod. Thanks for downloading episode 51. The matchday 23 for Saturday's game against Argentina has been announced, and we're doing our pre-game analysis off the back of it. You're listening to the England Rugby Pod, the rugby podcast that believes England will win the World Cup in 2019. Hi guys, welcome to the latest episode of the England Rugby Pod. As promised, a quick kind of pre-game chat. The squad has been announced for Saturday's game against Argentina, so we thought we'd go through that, have a little chat about it, and see what we think. I'm joined by Dan. Hi, mate.
Hi, Andy. Happy wedding anniversary to you and Liz.
Thank you. It's been out for a nice lunch.
Yeah. Good day. Anything else planned for the day, or not just a nice chilled evening?
No, chilled evening is the way to go. Record a podcast, edit it. That's what she likes on our wedding anniversary. So that's what I will give her.
She's a unique one.
I aim to please.
Good.
So anyway, cracking on with this. Argentina on Saturday. It's a bit of a funny one because looking at the last couple of results, it feels like it should be a really straightforward game. Obviously, the media, as you do, and rightly so, talks about it as every game's a tough game. They're a tough opponent. In 2015, they made the semi-final of the World Cup. Which is a hell of a feat, and credit to them for that. I think it's probably important to remember that this is not 2015. England got knocked out of the World Cup in 2015. The side that we see out on the pitch today, or on Saturday, it's a very different looking side, and I think, in my opinion, Argentina probably, I hope I'm not eating my words, but I don't think they're going to be a huge challenge. What are your thoughts?
I can't see them beating us. I like the look of the team we've got out. Yes, we're resting a couple, probably our two biggest players, actually, probably our two biggest name players. But yeah, you're right. Argentina aren't the team, in my opinion, that they have been previously. And semi-final 2015, as you mentioned, that's all very well. It wasn't the toughest. It wasn't the toughest ride to get there. So, let's bear that in mind a bit. I'm sure if them and England had swapped places, England's World Cup would have been very different.
True, although perhaps had that happened, we wouldn't have Eddie Jones at the helm now. So I think we. As we are looking towards 2019, it all worked out as planned.
It certainly did.
So I had a little look back at some of the sort of historically how we've performed against Argentina over the years, because we actually said in our last episode we weren't sure if England had ever lost to Argentina. They've lost 4 times. I think that
amazes me. Yeah, you looked up at the time. That really amazed me.
Well, so they haven't lost in the last 9 games, which I guess, that taking us back to 2009, that is. They lost it, in 2009, and prior to that, they haven't lost at home since 2006. They've lost 4 in total, 3 of them in Argentina, 1 in England, which was that one in 2006. You might say that Argentina are well overdue a win. I'm not convinced it's this year. I'm not convinced it's this World Cup cycle. I can't see it happening, to be honest.
Remember how shit we were in 2006? So, in 2007, somehow we made a World Cup final, but in 2006, we were in a bad place, rugby-wise. We really were. This team is far from in a bad place. I can't see them, however overdue they potentially are, a win. I don't think tomorrow is the day.
No,
or Saturday even.
I completely agree. I think as well, it's Argentina have got this bizarre thing going on over there now, where they'll. I was watching something, so I'm kind of pulling this information from some other source and just regurgitating it. But I found it quite interesting. Obviously, they have this rule. You've got to play for. Is it Los Pumas? What's the team?
Jaguares.
That's the one. Pumas are the Argentine side, aren't they?
Well, so is Jaguares.
Oh, so what's their club side?
I believe it's the Jaguares where they pretty much all play for.
Okay. So what I'm asking you is, what's the name of the Argentine team, as in their international side?
Oh my God! Yeah, sorry, I just jumped in there. Yeah, Pumas. Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah.
Okay. So quick rewind. Quick rewind. So in order to play for Las Pumas or the Pumas, you have to play for the Jaguars.
Right. Okay, we got
problem,
there.
The problem is, and this is what they were pointing out. The problem is that the Jaguars don't do particularly well. You know, they're not a very strong side. So this group of players, this 30 man squad that the international side is made up of, they lose week in, week out, and then they have to step up their game in an international, and somehow they're expected to perform better than they perform week in, week out. Do you know what I mean? Like, sometimes you come in from your club, you all come together, and there's something in that. You know, the best of the best are coming together, and there's an opportunity to put on a performance that you don't normally do, perhaps. How do you do that when it's basically a losing side is told now you've got to go and not lose, but at a much tougher level? It must be very difficult.
Sure. Yeah, and I think part of the international setup thing, or representative rugby as a whole, is coming together with different people from different clubs. I mean, fine, they're all from the same club, so there is an argument to say they're all from the same clubs, they all know each other inside out. In theory, that should help the game. And I get that. And I also get the fact that putting on an Argentine top compared to Jaguares or Jaguars top or whatever it's different. And your mindset's probably different. But
there's only so much, though, isn't there?
Yeah, exactly.
Because in the back of your mind, you know, when you look to your left and you look to your right, these are the same guys that I lost with last week and the week before and the week before that. You know, so you can have a bit of extra pride. Maybe, but can you really find another gear when you know that the same people come together and playing against sides at a lower level, they can't perform? I don't know. I just think it makes life really difficult. I mean, I think at the very least they need a second team, you know, a second Argentine club side, so that at least they can kind of pick the best from the two and bring them together. It gives them something to kind of say, right, the best from them, the best from us, and now we're going to put together this Argentina side, and we're going to be able to have that, we'll have that opportunity to step up, add that to the pride factor, and maybe they have a better chance. I just think, as long as it's this setup, I just don't see how they can do it.
I think it's an experiment that hasn't proven to work. So I'm sure it will change. Whether that will change in the short future,
yeah,
I'm not sure. I think a lot of countries are doing this. In England, we're very lucky because the Premiership is so good that we do have. The reality is we have 12 teams that.
Oh yeah, it's huge.
Comfortably, we can pick from.
But you look at other teams. You look at Wales. You look at Ireland. They don't have a huge number of teams, but just that fact that it's not one team. The fact that there is the ability to bring people from other sides, even if you're predominantly one side, to bring in the best to kind of top it up and make it that little bit stronger. I think it just gives everyone something to kind of go, okay, we're a little bit better now. We look at all of those games that we've played during the season where we've just, we just didn't quite do enough of this, or we didn't quite do enough of that. Well, now we've got a stronger side. He's particularly good at, this part of the game. And I don't know, I just think maybe you need that. And I think in Argentina, they just don't have it. Look, before we move on to the England squad, or the match day 23, another fact that I decided to look up. So our record win against Argentina was in 1990, 51-0. We also put 51 on them in 2013. I'm not sure what they put on us, but obviously we won that game. Can we break that record? Can we put more than 51 points on them on Saturday?
I think that's too much to ask, if I'm honest. I don't. It wasn't that long ago. We did it on Scotland. So yes, we can, but I don't think we will. As much as anything, it's for boys for the first time out together for a little while. There probably will be a bit of rust there, and I mean the Argentine team. We are saying, not great. We don't think you can beat us, but they're still not awful. I think 51 might be certainly a winning margin of 51. I think is a bit too much to ask.
I don't mean a winning margin. I mean a max points tally.
Okay, I still think it's
can we put
probably
more
a
than
bit
51
too
points to
much.
them? Okay, you're saying no. I'm going to say yes. I'm actually predicting 57. Not going to predict what they're going to
Oh,
score on us. 6 tries, 5 penalties,
okay.
all converted by George Ford, who's kicking like a machine at the moment. Let's hope he keeps those boots on for Saturday.
Yeah, he's playing well. I'm looking forward to seeing him. I'm looking forward to, actually, on that point, should we move to the team?
Yep,
Because
yep.
looking at that, so when I saw the team, there were three actually major things I want to see from the team. I want to see Underhill start. I want to see Slade start. Both is happening, which I'm really happy about. At some point, I'd love to see Slade given a chance at 13, but regardless, it's great that he's starting. And the third thing actually that I wanted was Genge to be in the matchday squad, which he also is. So I really like.
And you've been plugging to get Rocco Daguni in there too, so he's there too.
Yeah, I've been plugging at the moment. If everyone was fit, I must admit I wouldn't have him there because I'd have Johnny May.
Of course. Well, Johnny May starting. Who in that situation would you have Daly on the bench?
Yes, I would. My ideal situation would be Watson at fullback, and my wings being probably Johnny May and Daly.
What happens when Jack Knowles fit?
Well, then it would be Johnny May and Jack Knoll.
Johnny May, Jack Knoll, Watson on the bench, Watson at the back, and Daly on the bench.
Daly on the bench.
Okay, interesting. All right, well let's look at this team. Let's start at the top, the bottom, the front row. Mako, Dylan, and Dan Cole. Pretty solid front three. We know what they can do. We've seen it time and time again. We know they're going to put in a performance. A huge number of caps between them. I think Hartley's the most capped England player at the moment, 86. You've got Dan Cole with 74, and Mako, okay, slightly less with 42 caps, but he's
still a hell of a lot.
He's an old boy now, isn't he? So yeah, really solid front row, which I think is great.
Yeah. No, that's
happy with that. I mean,
I am happy with that.
When you've got George, Genge, and Williams as your kind of replacement front row, it's you're switching things. You're saying, look, we're going to start off with the experience, and then we're bringing on a very young. I mean, Jamie George, most capped out of those three, was 17. Genge with 3, Williams with 2. Both, I think, all of them pretty much were, over in Argentina, so kind of almost semi caps. So really inexperienced 3 coming on. But we know what Jamie George can do. We've seen Genge ripping it up in the Premiership, and Harry Williams. I'll be honest, I don't know enough about him, but his name is cropping up more and more. So he's clearly rated more than we
did.
Yeah, we gave credit for. But so we're going to say some nice things about him this weekend, aren't we?
Let's see him play first.
That's what I mean. After the game,
But
yeah. So it'll be interesting to see that. You've got 3 guys who are absolutely gagging to be a part of this England side, who are going to come on with maybe 20, 25 minutes to go. Could really rip it up, which would be good to see. I'm looking forward to some big hits from Genge, some good running from Jamie George, and something special from Harry Williams to complete that particular trio. But yeah, no Joe Marler. Was he available?
Well, don't forget he was initially left out because of his ban.
Yeah, but then the ban was done in such a way that he could have been selected, and he hasn't been.
I just think it's. I mean, why would you bring? It would be harsh to bring him in. Because to bring him in, you'd have to. Yeah, I don't know.
You have to get rid of someone else. Other people have been got rid of from the squad's down to 28. So people have been got rid of. So I think you want your best squad.
That was always the plan.
But I don't think I'm not sure that Eddie Jones would care. I guess my question is Eddie Jones punishing him for what he's done? Is he actually not selecting him on form? I can't see Eddie Jones going, well, do you know what? I kind of promised these guys, so I'm going to stick with this. I think he would pick what he wanted, which makes me think that maybe he doesn't think that Joe Marler is the guy.
So, yeah, I'm kind of with you. I think if Joe Marler had been fit and no ban, I think he would have been in a wider squad. But looking at it, I don't think we need him. I don't think not having Joe Marler is a massive loss because of we've got Mako and Genge.
Yep. No, I agree.
So yeah, I don't think there was, even if Eddie had thought, maybe I might have had him initially. I don't think it was a loss.
Is not in there again. it's a ban, isn't it, Carl Sinclair? He's not allowed to be there, but
Yeah.
there's a lot of options there. So I think the young guys are definitely knocking at the door. Anyway, okay, let's move to the second row. We always knew it was going to be the awesome foursome that we were going to make this up. Obviously, the fact that he's resting Marrow makes it nice and easy. The other three are involved. The question was just going to be which ones start and who's on the bench. He's gone. We both wanted Courtney Laws. We felt that Laws and Marrow were the kind of first choice. So if we assume that he went in with the same mindset, Marrow's being rested, he puts Cruz ahead of Launchbury.
Well, Cruz is line-out caller, isn't he?
Well, I think Joe Launchbury, Wasps are starting to turn things around. They've not had the greatest start to the season. I suspect. We've talked about it in various episodes over the last few weeks. If you're playing for a losing side, it's very difficult to stand out. And I wonder if maybe that's another reason why he's just been pipped. Because does Laws not call the lineouts for Northampton?
I don't know. Possibly not. I mean, he's been paid a bit of six. I mean, Laws had to play, but before he's been on this season, regardless of that, he had to play. And I think you're right. I mean, Joe Launchbury is a great player, and he may have suffered due to Wasp form, whereas, Cruz is solid, but
he's not a sub anyway. He's not a sub. He's a finisher. The three of them between them, we're not going to see Laws at six, short of injuries, with Rob Shaw and Underhill. In the back row, there's not, it's not a situation like we've had in the past. So we're not going to see Laws pushing back. But I think between
you worded that really weirdly.
Well, I did now.
Yeah,
now that your mind has taken it to that dark place.
But whatever your mind's up to, mate. I mean, look, we're not. You're right. I quite like that. I like the fact that the awesome foursome now realistically only need to be considered as it stands for the row.
Yeah, I think they've got that covered. For a World Cup squad, you're going to probably bring in, a Nick Ashekwe or someone, and obviously there's a few years to go. We don't know how, the kind of form he's going to get himself into, but you're probably going to want another one in there as cover. But I think, we've said it all along, those four are more than capable of covering the 4 and 5 and the bench. So I think that is covered, and that's strong. 58 caps for Courtney Laws. Only 20 for George Cruz. Launchbury 44, so actually a bit more experience on the bench, but the three of them have got enough experience between them that they know exactly what's happening there. So the back row, as I mentioned, Rob Shaw and Underhill are 6 and 7. Nathan Hughes number 8. Really good to see Underhill. We've been talking about him for the last few weeks. He's been looking really strong. It's going to be great to see him in an England shirt. Rob Shaw got the experience, 56 caps. And Nathan Hughes, Billy's not available. And Nathan Hughes seems to be getting better and better every time he puts on the England shirt. So hopefully he continues to do that. And we just see more of the same, because if we assume that Billy comes back fit and healthy, Nathan Hughes is going to be a really important replacement.
My sort of nomination or my prediction for man of the match tomorrow is Nathan Hughes.
Really?
I've just got a feeling he's starting to come into some good form. I think he's going to start ripping it up tomorrow. I imagine we'll be on the front foot a lot. He's a big, heavy traffic ball carrier.
I agree with you, but and you look at his frame and everything suggests exactly that. But when you compare him sort of side by side with Billy, and we said this when they were down in Argentina, he looks like someone who should be running through players, and there's something, there was at least in Argentina. There was just something missing. That ability to run through the player. I don't know. Billy would pick up the ball and go through 2 or 3 guys, and he'd have to be sort of slowed down and then eventually brought down. Nathan Hughes was getting stopped in Argentina by this side that we're going to play on Saturday. So, do we think, or certainly we hope, but do we think he's found something, something else there, a bit more Billy-esque?
Yeah, I think so. I think we'll be more on the front foot than we were in Argentina. And don't forget, 1-on-1, the player should be stopped first time. I think Nathan Hughes suffers from the fact that he is compared to Billy, who is one of, Billy and Kevin Reid are the 2 best 8s in world rugby, in my opinion, for sure. So I think Nathan Hughes sometimes suffers from the fact that he is put on that pedestal next to Billy,
But I think that's
and
good for him.
he's not. Oh, it is definitely
But he,
good
he
for
needs
him.
to be compared to Billy because that's the shoes he's trying to fill. Billy's not available. And Nathan Hughes has to be going into these games believing that he has the ability to own this shirt. He can't go into the games thinking, well, I'm just kind of keeping it warm for him. We all suspect that is the case, but
Yeah,
Nathan Hughes has to go in and convince everybody that actually no, he owns this shirt, and if Billy wants it back, he's got to take it back.
and I'm sure that is his attitude. It's
So
just
I think if
it's not my thought process. I must
he
admit.
needs to be compared to Billy, and I think he needs to just continue to improve and do more of the same. You want Billy back, but if Nathan can do that role, brilliant.
Yeah, how many caps does he have?
He's only got 10 caps. So,
Okay.
1 cap for Underhill, 10 for Hughes. Pretty inexperienced back row, but obviously Robshaw 56 making up for that. So the forwards actually
Yeah.
have got 347 caps between them.
Wow,
Starting 8.
that's experience.
Which
That's
is decent.
an
Which is decent. And they've got an average of, well, that makes an average of about 43. Not that really works like that, but 347 caps. It's a strong front 8.
Definitely.
So and this is this article that I mentioned to everyone in the last episode. These guys who'd analysed the England side. This is the stuff they were talking about. We've got that now with a team that is essentially what we expect to see in 2 years' time. How many caps are they going to have come 2019? If you can keep these guys together, that's the kind of the point they were making was that this is an experienced side now. It's still relatively young. And it's got 2 more years to add to with the experience it already has. So it could be a phenomenal side, as we know it will be.
It certainly can be, yeah.
Okay, well, let's move into the backs. Young's forward 9-10, keeping it the same. Good experience there. Young's 70 caps. Young's and Kerr 70-73. These guys have been doing just juggling this position for what seems like forever. They're 2 of the most capped players in the England side. And they share a position. I mean, I guess that's irrelevant because they therefore get a cap each for every game. But that's good. I think that's the right call. Probably. I mean, we've both been talking Danny Kerr up, but I think we say it every time we discuss the England side, the England match day 23. Danny Kerr, I think, offers a little bit more off the bench than Ben Youngs would. So it's probably the right way around to do it, in my opinion.
Both are absolute quality. There was an interesting interview with Ben Youngs, which I heard in the week, and they were talking about what's it like playing with George Ford, and he said what's great is certainly earlier in the season, sort of if something's going wrong, for example, they had a match where their line-outs were just going terribly, and now they've already discussed this, so they know if on Saturday, for argument's sake, their line-out was going terribly, they've already got a plan B in their head. Like having played together, having experienced that together. So I think them starting together is good because like Danny Kerr and George Ford wouldn't have that.
No, I mean, I agree. And you're right. That probably should have been the first thing that we mentioned. Because I'm really excited about seeing them. I know that they've played together for England for a long time, but as you say, they're now together at Leicester. George Ford has come into form. He's looking phenomenal at the moment. Obviously, he's kicking like a dream, which is a benefit and gives us the ability to rest Owen Farrell. And I think that the fact they're playing together week in, week out, and George Ford is playing so well for Leicester, I'm really looking forward to seeing him boss this game. And I'm predicting George Ford for the man of the match.
Yeah, I think that's a good shout. The way he's playing at the moment, the way he's controlling that Leicester back line. And actually, he played phenomenally well in Argentina as well.
Yes. Well, he got man of the match certainly once, if not twice, didn't he, while he was over there? So, yeah, he looked good. And I think with Farrell not there, it gives him a bit more sort of, I don't know, seniority maybe?
Responsibility to take on.
Yeah, definitely. Because I think that they're 2 very similar guys. They've grown up playing together. And Owen Farrell has always been the better one, in the eyes of the general public. Owen Farrell's not there. George Ford, you're the man with all eyes are on you, and you're kicking. So that's the other thing. If you can nail your kicks as well as everything else, then it could be a very good day for him. So I think that's an exciting pairing, even though it's nothing new. It's it's a new version of the old pairing, so it'll be good to see how they get on. Elliot Daly's back from injury. He was expected to miss the first 2 games. He's made a miraculous recovery. Don't know if there's a secret to that. We'll have a look and see if we can find anything. But he's back already.
Yeah, I mean that it caught me by surprise the other day. Exactly as I thought.
I don't know how
maybe
you get an
it
injury.
just wasn't as bad as
I
thought.
How'd you get an injury a week ago? Get told, you've got at least two weeks off, and then make it back within the week. It's bad medicine. That's what that is. Bad doctors.
Well, or brilliant medicine.
Or brilliant medicine, absolutely. Maybe it was milk, like back when Joe Marler made his big recovery.
I think whether he could take on quite the same amount as Joe Marler, I'm not sure.
Perhaps not. Well, look, we briefly mentioned it, so we'll just kind of do it now. But Daly one wing, Watson's on the other wing, Mike Brown at the back.
Sorry, I was coughing there. So Daly and Watson on the wings. I think that's fairly solid with what's available, because there are a few knocks, a few injuries. With what's available, I think I'd just start with that as well.
Brown at the back. I mean, we both said that we want Watson ultimately to be the England fullback. But looking at the team sheet, and I'm in particular, I've given Mike Brown a lot of abuse over the last few weeks. But I do like 62 caps. You talk about the spine of a rugby team being the hooker, the number 8, 9 and 10, and the fullback. And we've got Dylan Hartley with 86 caps, Youngs and Ford with 70 and 37 apiece, Brown with 62. Sure, Hughes is short and caps at number 8, but the rest of that spine, if that's what you want to call it, that's a very experienced kind of thing to grow your side off. So I think it is good. Brown obviously was out in Argentina on the tour. That's gonna add something, and it's good having that bit of experience, particularly when the centres, you've got JJ, who's not been in the best of form, and Henry Slade, who has very few caps but has been in great form. Hopefully someone like a Mike Brown can just kind of help kind of bring that together. And I think particularly once they start bringing on some of the subs, there's not a lot of caps there, so it'll be good to have the experience around to kind of help.
It's so the reality is, I think the best fullback in England is Andy Goode, but he doesn't fit what's wanted from England's setup.
I think we need to stop referring to him as Andy Goode.
Why do I always do that? Yeah, it's because I did. You know what? It's just because I just listened to their podcast, actually.
No, there is no other podcast.
Oh, is it? Are we the only one? Yeah, shit, don't let on. Alex Goode, sorry. I think he's the best. I think he's the best fullback in England, but I think Mike Brown's the most solid fullback in England, which is what England wants and need. And actually, it maybe even frees up, like you say, with especially reference to the centres, that I quite like. I just can't think of enough sort of adjectives to describe Henry Slade with at the moment and how he's playing, and anything that allows him.
Just don't describe him as any kind of a specimen of a man, or.
Right, I love that.
I know you do.
I just love it.
You're just annoyed that Marrow's not included, so you can't use it.
But yeah, no, Matt Marrow is the specimen, so we can't use it now. But yeah, Slade, if he can just recreate part of the form he's shown at Exeter, we could be in for a treat. And you're right, JJ's start to the season I thought was pretty poor, but he's actually starting to look just that a pretty useful player again. He started to a bit of a nip about him.
Well, let's just hope he finds something back in the England shirt, because that's he's often stepped up for England, and that's what we want to see on Saturday. I think Brown's more of a traditional fullback, isn't he? Alex Goode is much more of a playmaker, and I guess under kind of normal circumstances, I think we said this last week, but you've got a Ford, you've got a Farrell, in this case Farrell replaced by Slade, it's kind of like for like. You've got two playmakers in the midfield. You don't want a playmaker at the back as well. So yeah. I think that's another reason why right now Brown makes more sense than Goode. So
yeah, I get that. I do get why he's there. And the thing Brown has going for him is he's a complete arsehole, and Eddie Jones likes that.
This is true.
Well, in his players.
Let's quickly go through the bench because we're getting on a bit. Jamie George, Ellis Genge, Harry Williams, we've already talked about.
Yeah.
Solid front row replacements there. That'll be exciting to see when they come on. Joe Launchbury. We've talked about it. He's the
Business as
obvious.
usual,
He's the obvious replacement. What's more interesting is the back row. So when I looked at the squad this morning, Tom Curry was the replacement for Sam Underhill.
That's what I saw.
It's now Sam Simmons, and I don't know whether that is because there was an error this morning, or if there's been an injury, or if in fact, I don't know what the answer is to that. If it's just wrong now, maybe. But the BBC are now saying that Sam Simmons is the back row replacement.
I'm excited by either one.
So,
in actual fact, I think I prefer Sam Simmons, and I think he's earned the place. He's been brilliant this year. Exeter are playing well; they're second in the league. I'm looking forward to that.
I agree. Look, Tom Curry's got one cap. Sam Simmons has none. Doesn't really matter which way round you go, or two caps maybe for Curry.
You're not using them to bring that international experience. Both are great
exactly.
players.
So I think it's as good an opportunity to give Sam Simmons a crack as it is Tom Curry. Maybe that's the way he's looked at it. Difficult to choose between them, and I guess we'll see. Because as I say, it said one thing this morning, something else this evening. Maybe it'll be something different again tomorrow. But we shall find out.
Don't forget,
Saturday.
Sam Simmons can cover
8.
Can cover all three positions probably better than Tom Curry can.
Oh yeah, 100%. And actually, you don't really have a replacement 8 if you've got Curry on the bench.
Yeah, you'd have to use Robshaw there, which I believe he was packing down for when Wales played England in Bristol.
Okay. I mean, maybe at the time the thinking was Curry. And maybe because he was packing down, Eddie had to change his mind.
That could be it.
Talking of Robshaw, did you see the interview that he gave? I mean, he has to, but about
Marlon
Yard leaving Harlequins.
Yeah, I was. It was a frankness that I probably wasn't expecting.
Yeah, probably rightly so, because he is. I'm assuming Rob Shaw is the Quins captain again. I'm sure he is.
No, it's James Horwell, I believe.
Oh, really? Okay. Well, he's a senior player.
He's certainly
played that
one
role
of
for a
the
long
more
time.
senior players amongst
So he was. I think you've got to back your club, haven't you? In a situation like that, you can't start bad mouthing them. But I got the impression watching it that he didn't want to. He was more than happy, it seemed, to say that the guy was disruptive.
I don't think he likes him that much.
Doesn't look like it, does it?
That's the impression I got. I got the impression that he's just like, I'm fed up with this prick as much as anyone else is.
It's interesting because I know that they've all denied it, but Rob Shaw is right now a very key part of the England setup. Because of that situation and because of what seems to be a pretty obvious bit of animosity there, I wonder if that kind of scuppers any chances that Marlon Yard has of making the England squad. In a team that has a lot of depth when it comes to wings. He's not. I mean, for me, he's not the guy anyway. But obviously, he was out in Argentina. I know that Eddie considered him, and Eddie's actually said he's not sure that his head would be in the right place.
Yeah, I don't think it scuppers any chances, but I think it makes it a lot harder for him to be part of that squad for sure.
Just, I guess, apart from anything, it's not just that. It's the fact that the reasons why he left Harlequins. It's just not. It's not the kind of the attitude that you want from your club player.
Exactly.
It's not the attitude you want from an England player either.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. We don't know the full ins and outs, but what we do know, and I think we can say with a good amount of certainty, is his off-field behaviour has not been right. Certainly at Quins, as far as I know, there's never been an issue with England. But you don't deserve to play for England if your off-field behaviour is not right, because such a big part of playing for England is, having that correct sort of
it's
behaviour.
Earning it. It's the pride. As soon as you get complacent, as soon as it just becomes a kind of a formality, I've got to play for England at the weekend. That's not what it's about. Football can do that all day long, but that's not what it's about in rugby.
Agreed. Yeah.
Okay, Danny Care, we've said, obvious replacement for Ben Youngs, rightly so, and then Lazowski, 2 caps. Not convinced he's done anything particularly spectacular. He's probably the only guy in this 23 that I'm not annoyed about, but not necessarily convinced that he's the best.
Who would you have in the stead?
I don't. To be honest, I don't know. I think probably someone who's not even in the squad. So you're never gonna get who you want.
Henry Trinder sort of guy.
Exactly. But But like I say, he wasn't selected in the squad, so he wasn't going to be the guy for that particular position. I could be proved wrong. We'll see what happens. I guess he's the 10 cover, isn't he? Although
he's a good player.
You've got Slade who can cover 10.
Well. Yeah, he's a good player. He's got more versatility than perhaps other options available.
And then Rokoduguni.
If Owen Farrell's there, I don't think he's on the bench.
Oh, God no.
Yeah, Rocco, I think, has earned it. I think he's there because of his form this season, and I think he's earned his place there.
It will be an interesting one. Against this Argentine side, assuming that he comes on not because of injury but as a replacement in the last 20 minutes, let's say, I suspect that at that point England will be starting to run away with it. And that's kind of, in my opinion, from watching him this season, that's where he just becomes unstoppable. So I could see him coming on for 20 minutes and scoring a couple of tries. It'll be interesting to see how he gets on if he comes on. Certainly, if he comes on sooner than that. Just with Eddie Jones is very kind of on the ball when it comes to looking for all elements. He's talked about Christian Wade an awful lot, saying yes, he can score tries and he can run fast, but he can't do all these other things. And we've debated it a little bit, but my opinion of Rokoduguni is that when he's not scoring tries, he's kind of he's a little bit absent, and obviously for England you can't do that. So it'll be an interesting one, more with a view to what happens perhaps against Australia, depending on whether Johnny May is back in time and whether the team stays the same.
Yeah, he's got the chance to prove himself, and he's earned the chance to prove himself. Like you say, whether we'll get the full story, because the chances are he will come on when we're winning on the front foot, and it probably will be more about showing what he does so well, and that scoring the tries. But yeah, I'd like to see him put under a bit of pressure on the wing, sort of defensively, positionally, and see how he reacts. But whether that chance will come, I'm not sure. But no, I'm glad he's on the bench. And as much as anything, the reason I'm mainly glad is I think it sends out a big message to people, say, look, if you play well enough and your form is good enough, you're going to be thereabouts.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree. The proof, as they say, will be in the pudding on Saturday, 3 o'clock.
Who does
kickoff.
say that anymore?
I do.
You do.
I'm saying it now. I'm saying it now.
Your grand and things.
Listen.
The proof is in the pudding. I get it.
On Saturday, 3 o'clock kickoff, Twickenham. We've mentioned it before. We're going to be there. If you're there, get in touch with us on Twitter. Come and join us for a beer. But obviously enjoy it. If you're not going to be there, watch it on TV. I imagine it's probably a 2:30 program start, probably on Sky. Get down the pub if you haven't got Sky, and then join us again. We'll probably leave it till Tuesday. I imagine we're going to be a little bit worse for wear on Saturday, and therefore probably Sunday too. So we'll get something recorded on Monday, get it out to you Tuesday morning for your commute to work to discuss the game, and then of course from next week for the Australia game, we'll be doing our pre-post or pre, during, and post game analysis as we did for the Lions tour. So back to that old schedule. But guys, thanks so much for bearing with us for the best part of 40 minutes. It wasn't supposed to be this long, but we clearly had a lot more to say than we thought. It's obviously good having you guys with us every week. Hope you continue to enjoy what we're doing. I know that we enjoy doing it. We'll catch you on Tuesday, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. And just want to say once again, a massive thanks to our sponsor, Doghouse Fitness in Balham. A great new gym. If you get the chance, check it out. Guys, thanks very much for listening. And most importantly, please remember the proof is in the pudding.